Hello everyone, I hope you're all well. So this is the long overdue video in this series, Your Path to Recovery. In the last video I spoke about where most of us immediately find ourselves turning to when we're struck with tinnitus, our GP, our doctor. I explained the pros and cons of visiting our GP, in that for many of us, visiting our GP as our first port of call can actually be detrimental to our emotional state, and how many of us end up coming out of the doctor's surgery feeling less hopeful than when we went in. However, I did also touch on how a GP can offer help in the immediate relief of sleep deprivation, and also, if needed, antidepressants. However, both of these medical approaches are not, in my opinion, and will not be your long-term answer. Alright? So, once you've visited your GP, your doctor, and then more than likely having been led down the standard treatment by numbers path of GP, being offered sleeping pills, antidepressants, then referred to an audiologist, having been offered sound devices, shrouders, maskers, and then more than likely having had MRI tests that find nothing, where and who do you turn to next for help and reassurance? What most of us find is that apart from the recommendation of our GP to visit an NHS audiologist, there at first glance does not appear to be many individuals or clinics out there who specialise specifically in the treatment and healing of tinnitus. So in terms of individuals and clinics who specialise specifically in the treatment of tinnitus, who is there? Well, in the UK, I'll talk about clinics first. Okay, so in the UK, in terms of clinics, the one that you're going to come across that's most apparent is the one that goes by the name of the Tinnitus Clinic. So straight off the bat, you know what they're about. All right, they've got clinics all over the UK, including London, Bristol, Leeds, Leicester and Manchester. I myself visited the Tinnitus Clinic on a couple of occasions, and I have spoken at length with their clinicians. I made a video discussing this and what my findings were, how I found the clinic to be, and the people there. I will put a link to that video in the video description on this one. Alright, so if you want to watch that, I'll put a link in. Now, this clinic does offer help and advice in the form of reduction therapy, behavioural therapy, sleep counselling and habituation therapy, but primarily their approach and what they offer are sound devices, shrouders, maskers, etc. They do also, I believe now, offer the neuromod linear system that supposedly actually can reduce your tinnitus. Now, in regards to all of this and this kind of approach, I've made my thoughts clear many times, and I personally do not think you will need to spend thousands of pounds, because these devices are not cheap. You do not need to spend thousands of pounds to find your path to recovery. Alright? There are, in my opinion, methods that are far more, I'm going to say, natural and lasting, but also a lot less cost, and I'll be getting into those later. Now, I'll make this clear, that's not to take away, okay, that some people have told me that these audio devices have helped them find relief from tinnitus. Okay, so I'm not going to take that away. All right, there are people that said these devices to help them. But it's not the approach that I would advocate. All right, so that's the tinnitus clinic. So apart from the tinnitus clinic, who else is there in terms of clinics? There really isn't many other options. There are a couple of others, such as the Spire Group, who have a tinnitus department, the Hearing Clinic, and one called the Harley Street Hearing Clinic. But they're all pretty much in the same model as the tinnitus clinic. Now, in terms of individuals who work as private consultants and advertise themselves as tinnitus specialists, there's many of these. Now, most of them you're going to find are ENTs and or audiologists, and they'll be offering, in my opinion, they'll be offering treatments that the NHS and your GP would have already offered to you. I know that Ben Thompson is highly regarded in this field as an audiologist. You can check out some of his content on Julian Cohen-Hill's channel, or his own. He's got his own channel. Like I say, some people find that sound devices and shrouders have helped them, okay? And these clinics and these individuals can offer these to you. As a whole, this approach of treatment is what the mainstream medical world has been offering for years, and with what I would consider limited results. So that's the mainstream and generally accepted model of help that is offered for tinnitus. Okay, now I'm going to move on to where and who to go to for help that offer an alternative form of advice and help, including methods that I advocate as long-term paths to recovery, much of which is how and why I found my own path to recovery, having gone from a level 10 to a consistent level 1 to 0. So I'm going to begin, to begin with, I'm going to talk about the giants of the tinnitus world, okay? Individuals that are pretty much considered, you know, the big guys in the tinnitus world. So in the UK, the first and most obvious example would be Julian Cohen-Hill, who has a clinic in London. Julian is what I would consider the godfather of tinnitus, okay? And his experience and knowledge and advice on methods that can help you find your path to recovery are, in my opinion, some of the best and most helpful. Julian's been helping people recover from tinnitus for many years. He has a vast amount of experience and knowledge. It was his methods and help and advice that helped me, okay? He covers all aspects of methods and treatments, but his main focus is on the neurological, psychological in the healing of oneself. Julian offers advice on, but not limited to, meditation, counselling, yoga, tai chi, sound therapy, diet, massage, self-healing, body practices, exercise. He's also an experienced cranial sacral therapist, and pretty much all of his advice and methods I consider to be extremely helpful and beneficial. Okay, in short, his approach, as is my own, is centered around the self-healing and change from within and change of mindset. So he would be my first choice within the UK if you're able to talk to him. It's not going to be of any surprise to any of you. Outside of the UK, another name that is well known within the tinnitus community is Joey Remy. Joey Remy, it seems, it's also centered around the self-healing approach, much like Julian. I've not had any personal experience with Joey Remy. I've never spoken to her. I've never really researched her that much, but that seems to be the case. She seems very popular. Now, at the other end of the scale, with a very different approach, is Liam Boehm. Liam's entire treatment and method and approach is very much centered around diet. That's what he's about. Now, while I'm heavily in the camp of psychological, neurological calming of the nervous system and mindset towards self-healing, I do think that diet plays a part, but it's a part, it's not the whole. However, in regards to diet, Liam is probably the foremost in this field. He certainly seems to have a lot of success. You can reach him via his websites. However, be aware that Liam doesn't adopt a gentle, empathic approach. Can be a bit of a sledgehammer in his manner, which I guess some people will respond to, and some people probably do need. But in my experience, empathy and a calmer manner is generally more helpful. Right, that's just my opinion. As for myself, I advocate all the methods that Julian pushes forward with an element of what Liam centres on. Okay, so kind of combination of both, really. So apart from these big names of the tinnitus world, who is there that I would advise to seek out? Now, as I said, there's many people out there, okay, who are saying they can help you with tinnitus, but as a blanket statement, I would look for the people that I consider would be helpful, they help me, and many people that I speak to, would be good cranial sacral therapists, hypnotherapy, counsellors, a good hands-on massage therapist, okay, any, of the body type therapy, hands-on, someone who can help you with meditation techniques, and maybe someone that can help you on forms of exercise as well as practices such as Tai Chi and yoga, etc., etc. In my opinion, people who can help, this is a good way of putting it, seek out people who can start to heal you, mind, body and soul. Alright? This will be your way to start to heal yourself in finding your path to recovery. Now, having said that, the person who is going to eventually and inevitably, and has to be, the most important in their helping of you is yourself, you. Other people like the ones I've mentioned can assist you and advise you in your recovery, but ultimately, whatever approach you decide to go with, okay, it's going to be you that is responsible and most helpful and have most impact on your progress, okay, in recovery. All right. As I've said, what helped me and many others to heal from high levels of tinnitus has been the self-healing of the nervous system and changing of mindset, neuroplasticity, resetting the thought process, allowing the mind to reprioritize the sound of tinnitus into the subconscious to the point you're no longer hearing it, and in that it no longer impacts on our lives. But what are the actual methods and treatments that the people that I advocate are going to offer you? What are the actual methods and treatments that I and people such as Julian advocate, and how and why do they work in helping you to heal and recover? That's what I will be talking about in my next video on your path to recovery. Best wishes to you all. I will see you soon. Noting that this video was long overdue, I will try and get the next one out in a more timely fashion. Okay, but best wishes to you all, and goodbye.